Hi, everybody. My name is Deb. I'm the creator of FindCalm Here. We are joining some FindCalm Here members today for our Mighty Mondays. So this is kind of like a catch-all. So if you have a question about community building, if you have a question about the Mighty Networks, if you have a question about business and how how you launch a community, how you get onboard members, lots of questions we can talk about as far as community building or even business strategy and how those things kind of come together during these sessions. They're part of the FindCalm Here community, and we have them once a month on the Mighty Monday. It's the third Monday, I believe, of the month. And so what I'm going to do, Ani said she has a question first to start out with, so we'll kick it off with Ani. Carol, if you want to, or Colleen, if you want to pop in after that, then just be happy to join us. But go ahead, Ani, we'll go start with you first.
Okay, thank you. Happy Monday, everyone. So my question is, I'm almost done putting together my course and can't figure out when would be a good time to launch it. I was kind of thinking fall. So because I'm not fully done yet, but you don't really, if Joanne was here, she goes, doesn't matter, just launch it, you know. But I need some time to, finalize all the technical stuff and all the try to figure out, okay, what do I need to do for list building? Like I was thinking of doing like a short YouTube lives, like short videos, and then post it on different social media sites. Just kind of get people's awareness and interest going, and try to, because I'm going to do a launch, only 10-day launch, try to sell my course. So I was kind of thinking of fall, like end of August or September. I don't know. And I honestly don't want to spend hours researching that because it's annoying. Yeah. So if you guys have any wisdom, I'm all ears.
I'll tell you, and then if anybody else wants to chime in with their feedback, we'll do that. But I'll tell you that whatever feels right to you is what you should go with. So if your gut's saying like the fall because you've talked to people and they're really busy right now, like summer traveling season, that kind of a thing. It really depends on who your audience is. So if your audience is like mothers who have school age kids and they might be traveling or they might be doing activities, this might not be a good time for them. But if that's not your ideal course participant or somebody that would be participating in your course, it might be a perfect time for them. And I think that's the question is, do you know who you would invite to this course? And then asking them, some of those questions about like when if it's a live course or it's a recorded course, either way, when they'd have time to do this and getting more clear on those things, but then what's comfortable for you. So if you're saying there's a lot of like pre-launch prep work, right? I get that because that's what I did with the FindCalm Here community, and I blocked it 2 months for myself, and I did a soft launch. And so what that meant was that I invited people who I had already talked to. So I had some like warm leads, people who I had discovery calls with in the last 9 months. I got that list together of about 45, 50 people. And I started reaching out to those people, trying to have discovery calls and connecting with them in emails as far as joining the community. And then on top of that, I was doing some outreach on my own directly. And then I was also getting referrals from other people. So there's a combination of a couple different places that I've been reaching out to gain clarity around the interest and if I'm providing enough value in the FindCalm Here community and all of those things. But I blocked out my time on my calendar. So I said, okay, well, the first thing I want to do is I want to set up how people are going to enter FindCalm Here and what that literally means, like the landing page, the plans, and that kind of a thing. So I set those things up as the foundation. And then after that, then I said, okay, well, here's the list of people. And then I started to put together email templates, and I put like a mass email out. And then I started to try to book some scheduled calls to ask people if they'd be interested in joining the community. Now, that's a really personalized approach. With your approach, I feel like that's not at all what you would want to do, but somewhere in the middle of that, maybe you have some of these online and see who's attending and seeing if you can get some of the, if they're not already on your email list, making sure that those people that are attending either the webinar or the live events are on your email list so that when you're sending out notifications throughout the process, I would say in the next, if you're going to launch in September or October, then maybe over the next few months, you're sending them a weekly email and you're giving them maybe a little bit more information about the course over time, and then gauging their interest, and then offering up maybe some additional things based on what they say they would bring them. Like maybe there's something they tell you that they would want, and then you could add that to the course or add a component to that later. But like before you're doing a whole lot of building out of stuff, of just getting that confirmation, those people like basically nodding their heads. That's to me what I would kind of do. But yours, obviously, because it's is it a live course or
No, it's they just do it at their own pace.
it's a self-study course?
Yeah, it's a self-study course. And I do have, in my mind to create like first it would be like as I'm doing my like awareness kind of educational, a little bit of like short, like 10-minute YouTube lives or whatever videos, put it out there. Whoever is interested, I'm going to send them to a landing page just so they can read a little bit more about the course. If they're interested, then they will sign up. They will be added onto, okay, I'm interested when you launch the course, send me so I can purchase list. But on top of it, I'm also going to create a sales page, like a long form sales page, when in those 10 days, I'm going to market. But before that, I want to have a list. And I already have with the Thrive teams, they've created like 7 emails, just kind of I've already used it. Kind of, okay, every couple of days you send this email. This is what it would say, like a launch email, like similar to, I think, some what you put together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I mean, whatever
that
feels comfortable for you, like, just how much time do you have in the next few months to dedicate to each one of those like launch tasks, and then just kind of scheduling it out so that and whenever that launch happens, that naturally happens after all of those things, but giving yourself the grace of saying, okay, I know this is going to take me maybe a little bit longer, this one task, but then there's another task that maybe you can, get done within the same day. Whereas other tasks might take you a little bit of time where you're blocking out an hour each day for a week or two, so that you're like doing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So it's not so overwhelming by like, I have to get the whole sales page done and I have to do this. And then I have to put the email sequence together. I think those, thinking about it in the way of how can I just make it little tasks manageable in each day and each week, so that then over time you've got yourself ready to the place where you're ready to like invite people to purchase the course.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I'll make myself a chart.
Yeah.
Of like a to-do.
It's a good thing to put, and I put together a launch plan for myself where I just wrote down everything that I see that needs to be done. And then I just looked at the calendar and I said, okay, well, on Monday, I have an hour from 12 to 1. And so that's the day that I will make a plan, but I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to do the plan. And what do I need first? Like, I can't invite people into a course or a community without like a structure, like a landing page or a sales page. So like, those are the basic foundational things. And then you just grow upon that of like how you're inviting people, which would be your email sequences. But I think that then allows you, then the launch will be whenever the launch is, because that'll be when you're ready.
Yeah, that makes
Instead
sense.
of asking people when it's their time, because if it's a self-study course, once it's out in the world, then they can take it. So if they're ready in the fall, then they take it in the fall, but maybe they're not ready till January. And so then they would take it there. And that's just then all about cultivating your email list and telling people, in different, however you're going to be marketing and promoting this throughout the time of like, you know, sharing that with people.
Yeah, thank you. That helps,
Yeah.
definitely. Cool, thank
Does
you.
anybody else have feedback for Ani about the launch or anything you, Carol or anybody, Colleen have done?
I think that that's what you just talked about is flexible enough. And I think the fact that it is evergreen, they can go at their own pace. That I think it definitely makes sense. Whatever is going to work for you, because you got to pull it all together, and then they'll be able to just take it at their own pace.
Yeah, thank you.
Colleen, did you have any feedback or comments?
I didn't hear the basic idea. I was wondering, so is there a live component to your launch, or is it just an evergreen course?
It's the evergreen course is what Ani was saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was just
it is.
asking about when's the right time to launch.
When is the right time? I see. Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday, tomorrow.
Right?
I think sometimes when it comes to launching, for me, the way I'm wired anyhow, if I think too much, I never do it. And I have to capitalize on my, what I call quick start energy. So sometimes I launched last January and we just dove in. I used something I had done before and it was a live thing. But I just dove in and did it. So it was exhausting, but it got done. And then, but it also, for me, it created an evergreen product that it was something I meant to do live every couple of months. And then I got diagnosed with cancer and had a quick surgery and it's all good now, but I didn't have time to do a live course and I had an evergreen thing. So I think that definitely.
Yeah, my goal is eventually to launch maybe 3 to 5 times a year.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be available all the time. I just want to launch it a few times a year only.
Right. Okay. So when is the right time to launch? I guess just don't overthink it. Make sure you actually launch it.
Thank you.
Yeah, when's the right time for you? That's what we were saying earlier about that's kind of
Like Colleen said yesterday, but so.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yes and no, right? So it's good to have a plan and to, want to launch right away. But if you rush into the launch and without like really thinking through it, are you going to have a successful launch? It's I think it's more important to have, at least for me, I would want more of a successful launch than getting it out there really fast, because the world doesn't know unless I've already done some stuff and I've already been telling people about something.
That's
the world doesn't
thing,
the world doesn't know about it.
First one chance, and I don't want it to like have a bust.
Is it something you've done in a different format before, or is this a brand?
Yeah, I did the live. This is similar to the course like I did live.
Yeah.
But now I'm not doing it live. So it's just going to be,
Deb said something about your email list. This is a question I've had, and I guess so it's kind of related. How does the email list relate to Mighty Networks? Like, and how can an email list feed into and but also grow from your, do you know what I mean?
I can answer. Well, Ani is not using the Mighty Networks anymore.
not anymore.
Oh, okay.
But she's just lover of this group, and she loves, no matter what we talk about with the Mighty Networks, she's still going on. I was in her community when she launched her first course when she did a Mighty Networks last year, and she just discovered that it wasn't for her. So which is fine. Because sometimes you just realize you don't want a community, and a lot of people think They want to just do a course, like Ani just wanted to do a course. And so, but when you're talking about an email, I think emails are one of the most foundational things that can help build your Muddy network in so many ways, because not only do you want to connect with your members over time outside of the Muddy network to bring them in there, to remind them of what's going on and telling them about things all the time, but you also want to encourage other people to join your network. And so having some kind of a marketing or sales promotions and offers on an email list gives you that opportunity to build that interest and generation. So I know people that have either a podcast or some kind of content that they share, and people listen to their podcast for years, could be, or for a year, for 6 months. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I really need to join this community. Like Location Indie, I just did the podcast episode on Location Indie. The first of 3, a series of 3 came out yesterday on Sunday, featuring the Location Indie community that I've been in for a member of as 3 years. And what I really like, and I shared some of their emails in the Find Calm Here community. So there's some examples that I put of emails that I get as a member that highlight not only like other members that are being successful. So if I'm in the community and I'm like struggling, I see that there's people being successful and they're telling me that in the email. That's reminding me that I can go to the community and get support. In addition, they're also saying, here's some resources. So they have a job board. So if I'm looking for a job, that's somewhere the email is telling me, here's the job board inside the community. So there's a lot of other ways than, just talking to your specific, you could talk to specific members, but you can also talk to a larger audience of maybe people that are interested in the conversation, but they're not ready to they either don't have the time or the money, or they're just not ready to commit yet fully to your community. But that means not now. That it's sometime they could be, but it's just this moment might not be right for them. But the more you continue to cultivate that conversation through an email,
Yes.
whether they're a member of your community or not, at some point you might just hit them at the right place at the right time where they're like, oh my goodness, I need to join Colleen's community because this is I'm ready. So that to me is the connection between a Mighty network and an email list, among emails can do a lot of other things like Ani is talking about.
Not only that, but different platforms like Mighty Networks can go away tomorrow, or whatever platform you're using can go away tomorrow. You are left with the only thing you own, the communication form, is the email of that person.
Right.
I'll just jump in here real quick and just say, the most powerful thing you can do if you have a product that you're selling is to build a really strong newsletter mailing list. And what that does, I have people that, have been on my mailing list for 10 years, and then they're finally buying our big ticket courses because it's taken them that long to either be convinced or to save up and buy it. And our mailing list is at 10,000 now. And I remember I was thrilled when it was 200. And that's how it is, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's it's another way of connecting, and for me it's much more effective than Facebook ads or anything else in terms of building trust, building community. I'm just at this point I'm just using Mighty Networks to teach our courses, and I have a couple of questions with that. So let me know if it's appropriate.
Well, I think we've got Ani all sorted. So I can go over to Mira. And Mira, you're a newer member here. And I wanted to see if you could also introduce yourself because I don't know if anybody's met you in our community yet.
Sure. Hi, my name is Dr. Mira Reisberg. I'm a Doctor of Education and Cultural Studies. And I run the Children's Book Academy, which is an international online school teaching people to write and illustrate kids' books. And at this point, our students have published over 630 books and won just about every major North American award. So we've got a lot of credibility and for doing it. And I remember when I started, I was really like, oh God, I wish I was an early adopter of technology. And now, 10 years later, I am an early adopter. So it's no matter where you start in the journey, that's where you start, and that will end up being something that's you've really built on. I've hosted courses on Weebly and Teachable, which I hated. Teachable cost me a lot of money and a lot of time, and I'm bitter. I'm liking Mighty Networks better, but the things that I'm resentful about is that I can't have groups within the courses, and that's really, it's at a sort of whole network level. And I want them within the course, so they go in the course and everything is right there in the course, and they don't have to move around too much. And that I can't have dated drip system where I drip it beginning a certain day and every morning thereafter, or on a specific date, because we usually have lessons Monday through Saturday. Our courses are really intensive. They're about 6 weeks long, and they're the equivalent of a university course. And there's a reason our students have been really successful, which is because we give them a really comprehensive education. And we also bring in all sorts of big and little house editors, agents, and art directors to both help teach the courses and also look at students' work. So it's a lot of work, and I resent having to get up at 5 a.m. to release the course material. But apart from that, loving Mighty Networks.
Yeah. What is we might be able to look at some of these just to go through them. Is that a question that you had as far as what was
and
your
also a quickie question? How do you do emoticons?
in Zoom
Hearts? No, in Mighty
or
Networks.
in Mighty Networks?
Little hearts.
I have, so I'm on a desktop and I go to this website and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And it's just where there's all these emojis. And so I just go on there and there's a search bar and you just put like words in and it comes up with emojis, and then there's just a copy paste function. And that's it. I started using them because I found that it seemed like people people are just more responsive to posts when they're in there.
Yes.
It's kind of seems silly, but yeah, it just seems to get a little bit more attention when there's some kind of like a smiley face or a heart or a flame or something, or like sparkle thing. I mean, I don't know. It's a silly thing, but it's a good question, because I think that's something I didn't do in the beginning. And it's I just started noticing it in other communities that I was in, and I said, okay, maybe I should try this. And then I just started to notice that whenever I did that, it just seemed like there was more interest. Like people were just looking at those when I added those little tiny visual elements, because we're visual. We love visual, pretty
we
things.
live in a visual culture.
So yeah, that's the link that I use, that I bookmark, and I just go there and type stuff in and copy and paste.
And I'd also love to hear what other people's communities are too, so I can support other members here as well.
We
And
just did, yeah.
I love your face.
Well, thank you. Mira, yesterday we had a brief new member meetup, because yesterday was the official year anniversary of Find Calm here. And it was also our official launch date for the new structure of Find Calm here, which is for community managers and Mighty Network hosts. And so on that call, a couple of them who had attended told us a lot about their communities and then how we can support them. And so that's what, there's a recording of that on the Mighty Networks under that. I put their link there, and I think I tagged you in it, just so if you're interested in learning more about some of the members of the community, I did do that. And I want to keep doing more of those kind of events so that you can all get to know each other. And at the end of, during that call, we said, what's something you'll give and what's something you need support in? And so, sharing that in the Find Calm here community, and supporting each other on these Zoom calls and sharing just, hey, if anybody knows if anybody has resources, this is something I need. And if anybody needs something, here's what I have to offer. And Carol was making that offer yesterday on our call and just saying she's a really great listener and she's good for a sounding board. So she was willing to talk with Find Calm Here community members about that. So if you wanted to reach out to Carol, and there was a couple other people on the call that had some different things that they were sharing. Joanne was sharing about launching, and she's really helpful in she just opened her next community, which is for travel raiders. And so she's actually, her and I are going to partner on a workshop that we're going to sync up to how do you get the word out about your community in a larger, to a larger audience, because she has some connections with Thrive Global or whatever it is. And some other places that she's been quoted in, like the Wall Street Journal. And she's just gotten really some awesome high profile interviews,
Wow.
which ultimately lead to you increasing your SEO because people are clicking on your links. And ultimately then that helps as your business model of growing the know, like, and trust factor of what you
Social
do.
proof,
So
yeah.
So we'll have a workshop on that. There's a lot of other things coming in the community I talked about in that recording, if you watch that. Sorry, that's the answer to that question. And then what was so you had a tech question?
Yeah, there were two tech questions.
Okay.
One was dripping content by date.
Is this something you want to share your screen and share your community so that
Sure.
we can look at what you're doing? Is that something?
Yeah. Share screen. Here we
Hold
go.
on.
Oh. Let me in. Will.
Yeah. Because there's a couple different ways to do what you're talking about. But I don't know if that's the solution that you're looking for. So that's the question.
Okay, so here's a current course that I've got right now. And the only way that I can share, so we're in week 3. So I've done today, and then tomorrow I'll have to get up early and make visible. And my choices seem to be between sharing the whole week. Okay, let's make this hidden now. And then make visible. And then here I have the choice of making the whole week visible or only making section and pending lessons visible. And so tomorrow I'll have to get up at 5 a.m. and then just go here and make visible.
So in the lesson settings, there's some options as far as sequentially, like so that they can, once they complete a course, like once they complete a section, then they're able to move on to the next section. Did you see that area? It's in, I think it's in that top section where it says manage.
I'm looking here. I'm not seeing manage anywhere.
I
If you
think
scroll-
it's in course settings. And if you
Yeah.
click your profile picture,
Okay.
Yeah.
Over
isn't it
here.
in there? Sorry.
this?
If you click your profile picture,
Okay. The
at the
course
top, no.
profile.
Oh, manage. Oh, maybe there. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Go ahead, Deb.
Okay.
Yeah, the manage, and then course, I think it's course content. And then if you scroll all the way down, it'll say, okay, maybe that's not the right place. Okay, if you go back, okay, I know what you have to do. So you go back to, I think, manage, and then is it general
But then
settings?
you're back here.
Yeah, manage, and then I think it's general settings. And then if you scroll down, the course description, website, branding, details, naming. I think it's really at the here. So it says, want to make changes, want to create a new course with same material, there's a duplicate course. It's all the way at the bottom. Do you see that section? It's all the way at the bottom. It's
Yes.
very small. So then
Yes.
the next one says, want to make a change to your personal settings. And then you head over to your My Course settings. And then you go to, oh, this is just notifications. That's different. Okay. Whew, I'm getting into something I don't remember doing. I haven't done this
You-
for quite a while. Let me go back over to back to network. And then can you go to the courses where it says all of the courses? So not just that course, but all of the courses.
Well, I need to go into all the CBA courses. It's just a link that takes us to
Oh,
Weebly
my
where we have
courses.
our sales pages.
Yeah. So then if you go to manage from my courses, actually, I'm sorry. The course that you're on is that first one, right? And
Yes.
those 3 dots right at the bottom there,
Mhm.
you click on that. It
Setting.
says settings. I think that's where it is. That's the same
No,
thing
this
though.
is where we were.
Boy, this is confusing. All right, let me go back. It's
Do
like
you-
if
do
I'm
you-
not doing it, then I can't. Like I have to go through the steps. So we did that. I think it's when you initially set up the course. So when you're going to manage,
Okay, let's pretend we're starting a new course.
yeah, do that. Maybe that'll help me. I haven't done this in probably 6 months, and so that's why I'm having a little hard
Oh, I
time. I'm
know.
actually going to start getting back into courses this week, but I haven't done that for a while. So when you're setting it up,
Oh, I put it in here.
in like, hold on, I'm gonna go to another client's website. This
It's
might
in
be,
section
let
settings.
me do this. How about this, Mira? Since we're limited on time here,
Yes.
let's move on to your next question, and I'm gonna
It's-
get the answer for you, and then I'll create a video and I'll tag you in it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Deb,
Go ahead.
it's in,
Yeah.
it's in section settings.
And how do you get there?
Here we're here.
You go to go to the main,
Here we
go to
go.
the course. And then at the top of each section where you've got your title, you've got it, Mira?
Let me stop sharing and will you share, love?
I can't share, well, I'm not on, because I'm not on my computer. I can walk you through it though.
Okay.
Well, what I'll do is I'll put a video together, and
Mhm.
and then I can certainly
Yeah.
do that.
But what
It
I
won't
need.
take long. It won't take long. Go to your course content. Go
Okay.
like,
Is this where? No,
not this, not managing it. You go to any course, the one you're on probably.
Okay. Here we go.
And then see where it says week 1, hover there, click the 3 dots, settings. There you go, unlock options, sequential
Yeah,
and
that's-
timed.
I knew it was
Yeah,
in there
but
somewhere.
Love, I don't want them racing ahead. I want it date specific.
Oh.
Yes, the
well,
that time section where it says a section will unlock at a specific time, that third setting,
Mhm.
do you see that?
But you don't want the whole section to unlock, do you? You want
No.
just each lesson.
Each lesson.
Well, what I was
So
going to
it's
say
on
to,
a
so
certain date and it ends
yeah,
on a-
so that time section would be for the section. What I would do is split up. If you wanted to have it set up that it releases each day, then you could create each day as a section.
Um,
Well, actually, it says when you click on timed, it says lesson unlocks after 7 days.
Or select the date when it unlocks.
No, you can't select the date. It's just number of days.
Yeah, number of days.
okay, let's have a look at what this looks like. So I would
So
just put it after 1 day.
Well, it would be, I think it would be after,
Yeah.
So say the course starts on, July 7th. So I would want it to start on July 7th Then July 8th, they have access to the next lesson. July 9th, they have access to the next lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's a shortcoming that Mighty Networks needs to address.
Mm-hmm.
Can you bring this up with them? That was one thing that was good about Teachable.
Yeah, they're actually changing some of these settings in some of the upgrades that's coming later in this year. So this will be addressed. It's just not yet.
Okay.
You'll have more customization on this in the next, probably in the next 6 months.
excellent.
But yeah, there's a couple workarounds for what you're trying to do. I think it's just a little bit of a time chunk to like set it up the way you want to have it set up, but it's possible to have it set up, I think, that way and just kind of do some workarounds.
Hello.
The other,
Hi, Darren. I'm in a webinar right now. I'll call you.
I was going to say, if you wanted to take the call, Mira, you could take the call. We can come
No,
back.
it's all right. So I'm done with my part. Thank you.
Okay.
But if-
And
Yeah.
I'll work on a video for you, and that's a good question, and I'll look into this because one of the things I'm looking at, which I was going to ask for feedback on, is I think I'm going to go back to the business plan this week and start to build out a course, and for the FineCom here, based on what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks, and so that's what I was going to share with you. But I want to get to questions. So Mira, we got your questions answered for now, and I'll loop back over to you with a video to give
And
you
also
some more.
about the groups inside the course.
Yeah. So when you say a group inside the course,
Let me show you, love.
yeah, because I want to know what you
Okay.
want to happen.
Okay, so let me show you here. Close. So here, the only way I can have critique groups is that I can't have a private critique group within topics. The only way I can have a private critique group is at the network level.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll
Yeah.
see here, well, that's,
And this feature is what you're talking about is the course is a self-study. Anyone comes in at any time. They're not cohorts.
oh, geez,
That's why there's so many groups.
well,
Is that
yeah, we have a lot of groups for each course because we have, like right now, the current course, which is a little smaller than usual, is 95 students. And we have
Mhm.
5 people per critique group.
Mm.
Is this helpful for other people? I'm feeling
But
guilty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this
So
is.
the question I had for you though is, those are not like in the course. Anybody takes the course at any time. And when you're saying you want a private group,
No, they
you-
don't take it at any time.
okay, so if it's a timed course
Yes.
with those
They have
people
access the whole year.
in the cohort, like those are the same 95 people,
Yes.
why would there be needs for separate critique groups? Is it because of topics or?
No, they
Like-
have, because they're writing and illustrating children's books.
Mhm.
So here's one of the critique groups. And so they're sharing their images and stories, and the others in the group are giving them feedback, how to make their
Oh.
book better.
Okay, and is there a reason why you're not using the activity feed in the course for this?
Mhm.
Because the activity feed is not limited to a group of people.
So if you go back to the
Oh.
course, if you go
Okay.
back to the course, I just want to make sure I understand what you're trying to do.
Okay.
The course that you're talking about, share with me which course that you're looking at for the group. So that course,
So you want breakout groups. How big are these groups?
The groups are 5 to 7 people.
Uh-huh.
yeah. So there's 95 people in the big course, and that activity feed, see under the course materials is activity feed. And that
the
activity feed
is everything that's
is
been
everything.
posted recently. Yeah, it's not private.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I tried to have a private group for returning students, and it got really confusing. And what I've learned is the least confusing way for my students is to have the lessons in the course materials, and then to have different sections, everything here in topics. So we bring in former students who are now published and successful. Every week they come and they're a guest. We bring in, we have these webinars, and the webinars, like here's where everyone posts what they want to get critiqued by the co-teachers. Here's the recording, and we're putting everything in here. Lovely stuff, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying now. There is not a capability to have multiple groups within a course. I think that's another feature that is in demand with Mighty Networks. And I've heard that there are some upgrades that will probably allow that to happen in the future. I don't know when that will be, but the workaround is what you're doing. The workaround is to have to have those using that network groups feature function.
Yeah.
And what I do, and I
It's
don't, are you
already
using,
really, sorry.
yeah, are you using bundles to invite people in?
We have bundled courses that go with the main course, and that too is frustrating because they've got to accept each individual course within the bundle.
Okay, that's the question I wanted to ask you. So when you're setting up your plan and your bundle, you can actually combine the courses and the groups and have specific bundles to invite them into multiple courses or groups. And I don't know if you already do that. Do you do that?
No, can you show me?
Yeah, so if you go into that, your icon at your photo icon at the top and you go to network settings, you want to go over
I go
to
here or to the right?
back to network. You can go back to network. And then in that corner section where your
This left
icon
corner?
is, nope, all the way on the right. Yeah, there, and then network settings. And then go to your plan, payments, where it says payments there.
We don't sell through Mighty Networks.
No, it's okay. I understand that. If you go to payments and plans, do you have this set up at all? You do have some plans. So you have some bundles.
Yes.
So I see there a bundle that says CBICB, and you
Yes.
have that has multiple courses.
Yes.
And so
And
you
let me make this bigger.
can actually, if you click on this, on that CBD, the hidden bundle, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's number 7. It says
Sorry.
The other, it says CBICB bundle, and it has multiple courses. Do you see where it has the purple circle? So that's for your network, and then plus a bunch of other ones.
Okay. So
That one
click
right
on
there.
this.
So click on that one. And then if you go over to that tab in the bottom that says share,
Uh-huh.
and then you create a share link. So create a link, just click on that. And then you might have to go through some technical stuff here. This just changes some of your settings, but that button will then create a share link, and it will go to a landing page that has multiple options, like what you get, and then it tells you all of the things. And that's the share link that I recommend people using when they're inviting people to specific places. So if you want them to be a member of a group and a course, or maybe a group and 2 courses, these are bundles that you create. And then on your, do you use a website or do you use the Mighty Networks
What?
to bring people into the network? How do you invite people in?
They buy a course through Infusionsoft. Well, they find the course on our Weebly website. Then they buy a course through Infusionsoft. Then they get tagged in Zapier which then brings them into Mighty Networks.
And the Zapier is probably bringing them into the course
Yeah, but
place that you have
sometimes we
them.
get a message from Mighty Networks that we've invited too many people, which is
Mhm.
great. But love, is this something you could make a little video about?
Yeah, I can do a video on this. And actually, if you stop sharing your screen, I can actually share what those pages would look like on the fine. I just did this in as example.
And love, can I record this?
Yeah, I'm already recording it. So
But
you'll
you won't
see.
have it recorded in a little section.
No, I'll create another one for you. I'll create a little video for you. This is the guide that I'm working on. And one of the things we talk about is doing like setting up the network. And these different options are how setting memberships up can be the way for you to invite people in. And so when I'm in the Find Calm Here community, and if I go to my plans, I have, I just create a new external bundle, and that share link I copy and I go to an incognito window. And then so this link, this share link, that is the button that I would use to share with anyone that I would invite. So if you had your courses were, if there's a link that is sent in an email, you could hyperlink this link. And then they would see this. They would see I have access to the Find Calm Here community plus the client corner, which is a new space that I'm offering to clients. And then it gives them the description and the benefits. And you use this landing page instead of, a lot of people use their, a lot of people use the Mighty Networks landing page. And at the top, it says like, choose a plan. And maybe you only have the network membership and you don't want people to have to choose a plan. That's why I recommend using one of these landing pages. So
And
it's a cleaner,
where's that landing page hosted?
it's all on the Mighty Networks. So I'd have to look into the Zapier integration, but at some point there's a Zapier integration that links, and I don't know if it links to a plan, or I think it links directly to courses. If there's a way to link it to the plan, then you could link the plan so that they would have access to multiple areas in the Mighty Networks instead of inviting them into one course and then inviting them into another place. Does that help answer your question?
It does. I don't know that I'd be able to replicate it because
This might be something I might have to work on with you one-on-one, but
yeah.
Yeah, so each plan that you create has that share link ability. And so every time you're going to be offering something new, you could actually send people to that direct place. So this is just for the Find Calm Here community, but it's not that landing page. It's not this. It's this. And it shares, this is the landing page link that I have, that I share with people, and they land right here. And it's a lot cleaner because it tells them exactly what everything is, what they get access to, the benefits, and then what they pay. If you don't have if you charge somewhere else, you can still use all of this, and you can create a free plan, and then it'll just say access because they've paid somewhere else. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah. Yes.
That's a question that I just talked to somebody about, is those landing pages. Go ahead, Stacy.
So if I just want to make sure I understand, is that then a separate landing page that you've created? Or does Mighty Networks itself create the landing page with the information that you put in under the plan?
So whatever your plan is, however you have that plan set up, like in your settings, when you're creating that plan,
Yeah.
like all of these settings, the details, that is what creates that landing page. So it's a Mighty Network landing page that's customized based on what you put and what you're giving access to. So when you're going to create those bundles, when you're saying you want to start a new one, and let's say you're inviting somebody to the network membership, then they would have access to that. And then you're creating the price and all the details. And then that's the link that goes back to that share link. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So Mira, we'll get together one-on-one. We'll try to get some of these other questions for you later. But I wanted to make sure I address, I know it's like almost 1 o'clock here in Pennsylvania, and I wanted to make sure if anybody else has a quick question that I can address, Stacy or Carol or Colleen. Did any of you have anything that we could address for you today?
No, this has been super helpful. Is this recorded?
Yeah, I
Okay,
have a
you're recording it.
recording.
I mean, are you going to post the replay?
Yeah, I'll post the replay in the FedCom here community, and I
Okay.
can even send out an email if you'd like to. That way
Sure.
you can see it. But yeah, just to share with you one more thing, and then I will wrap this up. The new thing that I'm creating is called the guide, the FindCom guide. And it's going to be a combination of the workflows that I've been sharing with you, as well as breaking down step by step how to launch something. And so based on feedback that I've been given from a couple different people in the FindCom here community, I'm trying to give members a roadmap so that as soon as they come into the FindCom here community, they have somewhere to start, because that's some people had said, it's confusing when I come in, and for good reason. I didn't know exactly. I wanted to build this with the FindCom here community. I wanted to know what's really helpful for them instead of me creating something for people with my assumptions. And it's good that I asked, and now you're helping me a little bit in curating the experience with FindCom here so that you can get launched sooner. And so that's what this is going to be about. So I think what I'm going to do is pull these slides out into and build out a course where each slide I'll have maybe an accompanying video that I record a little explanation of what I am trying to explain to see if that is helpful as far as explaining what I'm trying to explain to get everything out of my head and onto somewhere that you can understand it. So these are going to be step-by-step, because one of the things Samir was mentioning was a step-by-step option to setting up plans, because I know Carol and a couple other people were really confused about the plans. And so I think that's the biggest stumbling block for a lot of Mighty Network hosts, is they just get really stuck on all those plans and settings and things like that. So this is a lot of technical. It's very specific to technical with some examples of what the differences are, but also based on your goal. What do you want? Would you want a recurring revenue, or do you want a one-time payment for your first launch? This is talking about people who are just launching for the first time. And then the workflow comes in when maybe you're not sure if you wanted to launch a one-time course or a network membership, or what does that mean? And so then these workflows are kind of going to be the guiding point to help you decide on what to do first. And then there will be more step-by-step examples of the variances of the differences in the settings, because when we talk about the member experience, that creates if you create a really great onboarding experience for your members, they're going to know exactly what to do and where to go. And then they're also going to be excited about the community and want to stay. And they're also going to want to share it with other people who.
I do, but in 10 minutes, I'm finishing up a Mighty Network.
I'm muting Mira. But so this is just some examples of what I've been putting together as far as combining that workflow with some more descriptions and examples and guides, so that I can help new Mighty Network hosts get to what they want to do and the answers a little bit faster, hopefully, and less stressful, and make it a little bit more fun. And this will be one of many guides, I anticipate. So then there will be one for like an onboarding plan. Then there will be one for community management, or how to hire a community manager, or what does a community manager do, or and other things that, as you and I talk throughout our process of the community, what guides can I create that will help you in all of the stages that you are in. So whether you're with Mira's situation, she's got a great problem of, there's a lot of people in there and there's a lot of interaction, and she's just got so much happening that it's really great. But it's very overwhelming. And so there's got to be a way to systematize. And sometimes the Zapier is a good solution, but it's not always the best solution. So there's other solutions. And that's the other, I was going to mention as well, about some other applications that I use in partnership with Mighty Networks. And so I'm going to put together an event for July to go through the other applications that I have found helpful to partner with the Mighty Networks when I was doing a launch, and then ongoing to schedule posts and to schedule out launch dates and to schedule out events and content. So I'll go over some of that as well. But I'll wrap up for now. I know Carol Dockham just joined. So if you have a question, Carol, I'll hang on, definitely. I know people might have to go, but I'll hang on. I have another couple of minutes here to hang on. I did want to let you all know we have our book club, our first book club meeting this Wednesday. And so our book this month, for the month of June, was The Business of Belonging by David Spinks. He's the founder of CMX, which is a community professionals networking community. And I've been a member of that community for quite a while. And so if you have questions about CMX, I can answer lots of those questions during that call. If you have questions around how to connect your business and your community plan together, that's what we're going to talk about. Just how do you create belonging in your community, and how does that connect to your business, and what does that mean? The business of belonging. So I barely scratched the surface on this book, to be honest. I was trying to get into it and I just didn't. I've been trying to do these workflows and trying to get together some guides for everyone. And so that's kind of where my focus ended up going in the last few weeks. But I did put some resources in the book club. And so if you're a member of the book club, I did put a post up in there. And I thought those talking points will give us plenty of conversation just in that. The first chapter has so much in it, packed in it. Oh my gosh, that we could talk about that, just the first chapter, for a long time. So I just figured, start wherever you are. If you've read it and you're able to join us on Wednesday for the book club meetup, that's great. If you haven't read it and you still are interested, just join us and you can read it after you hear our feedback. So cool. I love, Colleen said she loved the audiobook. Thanks, Colleen. Did anybody have any last comments or any questions?
This is helpful. I got to run and make a phone call, but thank you so much, Deb.
You're welcome. You're
What was
welcome.
the title of the book again? The
The Business of Belonging. It's by David Spinks. And I do have a list, and I can tag you in the post that's on the FindCom Here community. I put together a list of community building books, and that list is growing. So we've got lots of books to pick from each. Okay, thanks, Stacy, for joining. No worries. So we've got lots of books coming up and we'll talk during our book club meetup on Wednesday about our next book and which one we want to select for our next month, or if we just want to keep reading The Business of Belonging, because we can just do that. We can make it up as we go.
That's great.
I know how that goes.
I
Well, thanks
gotta
for
go.
joining us, Mira.
Oh, this is magical. It's really wonderful. And I love the people in the group. It's beautiful. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And you too, obviously.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right. Take care, Mira.
Okay. We'll do.
Carol.
Well, hello, Deb. I'm sorry I jumped on late. I was just sitting here and I got your reminder email and went, oh my gosh, I just want to pop in and say hello and to say thank you for all that you do for this community, Mighty Network hosts. I mean, you are just amazing. I did have one real quick question, Deb. I meant to ask it to you the last time we were together. My question is, when I launched my Mighty Networks, I sent out a free link to one of my she's already a member of my organization, a paid member, but I wanted her to jump in and to get her feedback input. So I gave her like a link, a free link, if you will. And now her membership is up for renewal, but she's already in the Mighty Networks as a free person. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way. Do I need to take her out of the Mighty Networks and then resend her a link to say your membership is ready for renewal? I mean, she has no problems renewing her membership. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If it's just that one person, are you creating just the solution for this one person in particular?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the best way to go about it. I would just contact her and say, hey, I'm gonna, you'll see a notification that you're removed from the
Okay.
network. This is just how we're renewing your membership. And so
Okay.
you'll get another invitation to join in the new membership. But I would say for others, you might, if you have this come up again, where you want to give, what I really started to mess around with was that free trial scenario. And so
Yeah.
you could create a free trial scenario so that then they would pay at some
Right.
point. And so if you did want to give them like a year subscription for free, I think that you could do that as a free trial for a year. And then after that, have them pay the
Right.
subscription. The other thing I also started doing, I just changed all my plans too, to offer that annual option. And I don't know if you do
Yes,
that.
I do that.
Yeah, but I just thought, I'm going to start trying that because
Yes.
Joanne had some success with people just automatically doing the annual. And I thought,
Yes.
I would think that maybe people wouldn't want to do that. So,
No,
but
they do.
sometimes they do. So giving them that option right there.
I think they do. They'd rather, especially if they get a discount, a little bit of a discount,
Yeah.
when they do the math, the monthly versus the annual, or just, they pay all at once, and then
Right.
you've got that chunk all at once. They're not going to unsubscribe or check out 6 months from now. You've captured them for a year. This is my
Yeah.
theory. So I do have that option, and I only have one member that does monthly. It's $25 a month, and everybody else just opts in for the yearly rate. I do
Yeah.
need to up my yearly rate because I'm too inexpensive compared to other organizations or networks out there. But
Yeah.
I figure right now I just want to, all my pre-existing members before Mighty Networks, I just want to funnel them all into the Mighty Networks platform and then get that engine running, you know what I mean? Which is what I've seen you're doing with your Mighty Networks. And I think the Find Calm community, I think it's what you're doing is awesome. Deb, you are on, you're just gonna, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, a year from now, you're gonna have a machine, a beast, and a fabulous community, and a great business, if you will.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's a good strategy. I would say if you feel, your pricing needs to change, I would do that sooner than later though, because
Oh, yeah.
the sooner you do that, then the more in
Yes.
alignment you'll feel with
Yes.
what you're doing.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
then people are maybe you'll get less people, but it'll be the people that are really committed.
Yeah. Well, my strategy right now is just there's a few, it's a handful that I need to get funneled, and it's all like membership renewals. They're pre-Mighty Networks.
Yeah.
Get them all in the next 30 days, like the whole month of July. Like, hey, we're live. Our Mighty Network apps, our members only app is live. Come and join us. That's where everything's happening. Whatever the message is, get them all in. And then as part of that, my communication piece over the summer is going to be get in for your lifelong membership pricing, because we are going to go up in the fall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like probably September or October. You know what I mean? But now's the time to jump in. As long as you remain a member, you are locked in at that price point.
Yeah, that's a good strategy too. The founding member kind of scenario, or just.
Right. As long as you stay an active paid member, you will always be locked in at that price. If you decide to leave and then come back, I can't guarantee we'll be at that price point. It'll probably be higher. So, just to incentivize them and not to create that scarcity mindset, but just so that they know, like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about joining. They haven't had a reason to, do you know what I mean? Besides, because I give a lot. I give a lot of freebies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, exactly. And I know you do too. Exactly. But at some point we've got to really,
Right.
there's so much work that goes into doing what you do, what I do, that yeah, we can't continue to do everything for free.
Yeah, and we talked in the beginning. I know you weren't on the beginning of the call, but in the beginning of the call, Ani was sharing about challenges around her launch for her course,
Right.
and she was saying about like, when's the right time to launch? Well, when she's ready, first of
Yeah.
all, and
Yes.
when she feels like that she's going to have a successful launch because she's validated it with other people is kind of what we were talking about. But combining that with the email list and understanding that it
Yes.
takes people time to really opt in to
Yes.
anything. And like they can
does.
opt into an email address, and they might be seeing your emails
Right.
but they're just not ready to join your community yet.
Right.
But then at some point they're like, oh, I'm ready. And so it's
Yeah.
just a matter of continuing
Right.
to engage with them and saying,
Yeah.
here's what we're doing. And so that's what I'm working on, really trying to
Yes.
improve my emails on my email list
Yeah.
and just talk about what we're doing in the community for people that I've maybe done discovery calls with. And,
Right.
they never ended up hiring me as a client for whatever reason, or as an expert for any reason, or maybe they weren't ready. And so
They weren't
now they're
ready.
ready.
Exactly.
And then they're seeing all this happening. And then they're like,
Right.
oh, I really want to
Oh.
reach out. So I think I, at least for me,
Yes.
I underestimated the amount of time that it really takes for people to have that like trust factor. If you
Exactly.
have a really solid relationship with somebody on a Zoom
Right.
call, you can establish that pretty quickly. But if you don't have that, I
Right.
think it's a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But you've got to realize that people, and even if you
Yes.
have a time commitment and it's not the right time, like a good call
Yeah.
with them, but then it's not the right time for them because they're like,
Exactly.
well, I'll have to come back to you in 2 weeks because I've got this going on. And then 3 months
Right.
later, they still haven't reached out because
Right.
life,
Life
and
gets
so
in the way.
it's just,
And
yeah,
it's
it's
not
just
about you, really. It's not about
patience.
exactly. And that's the thing that I've learned too, Deb. It's patience. My husband, when I joined I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary too. And when I saw your email about your 1-year anniversary, I'm like, yay, congratulations. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's taken a year to get to the point where I'm at today. And yeah, it's a nurturing kind of a thing. And then when people start seeing what you're creating and you're showing up in that space and place, and they hear little messages or other people's success stories working with you, then it's like, oh my gosh, I just need to sign up. You know what I mean? You're right.
Yeah.
It's a process. You don't just log in to Mighty Networks and fill in all the boxes, check, press go and expect to have 100, 500, 1,000 members in
Yeah.
30 days. And I think that's a little bit of a misconception. I don't know about you, but maybe if you already have a following and people love you, you know what I mean, like you've got raving fans. But if you're just starting out and saying, I want to create this community, and we all have our goals, or why we're doing this, and we're all, I think, givers. But it's a process. Yeah.
We've talked if you listen to some of the most recent Find Come Here episodes on the podcast, several people, I just interviewed Jason Moore from Location Indie, and that came out this week. It's a series of 3 interviews. I did an interview with Jason, who's the host. Next week, one of the members will be sharing an interview with me. And then the
Right.
community manager is the 3rd interview with the person who's now managing that community. And the takeaways in the interview with Jason and some of the other interviews I've had in the past with Mighty Network hosts is even if they had an audience, even if
Right.
they had, like the one
Right.
lady had an audience of 50,000 people and social media followers,
Right.
but it's a lot easier to click a like button or comment on an Instagram
Yes.
post. But then when you're asking them to connect and
Connect.
pay and
Yes.
join a community that they
Yeah.
might have to actually participate and engage in, that's
Exactly.
a whole nother level of commitment. And so I
Yeah.
feel like there is a misunderstanding or we all want to have this exciting space that everybody will want to join and everybody's going
Right.
to be a part of it. But it
Yeah.
really comes down to the user experience.
Right.
And if you've
Yeah.
validated before you've opened up the doors, so
Right.
that when you do open up the doors, and that goes back to discovery calls. So I had a woman from Mumbai reach out to me on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and she said, I want to learn about how you're doing consulting because so many people are asking me to help them build community in India.
Right. Right.
And this is a big movement now, online community building. And
Yeah.
she goes, I'm confused as like to how to even help these people. And I
Yeah.
said, would it really, when you don't have a community, if you're starting from zero,
Mhm.
validate it. I'm working with a social media management company now about validating the members and what they
Right.
want before you even build it, so that,
Right.
and using the words that they say in the interview when you're talking to them on your sales pages and your landing pages, so that then when everybody sees this, when you're putting it out there in the world, the
Yeah.
people you've got it in front of the right people
Right.
who are then actually going to want to say, of course I would join the space because that is exactly who I need in my life.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what Jason Moore talks about on his podcast in this week's interview. But I think a lot of people miss that step,
Mhm.
and they try to automate and systematize way
Right.
too soon when they
Right.
haven't done that foundational work. So, but some people, I mean, Mira's created hers for 10 years, and there's other people that have built really great businesses. And so
Right.
then they need systems and structures in place so that they can
Right.
manage and handle the demand of the space. So I think that there's
Right.
people that I talk to from all levels, and it's just
different places, right?
customizing
Yeah.
for each experience. And
Yes.
at the end of the day, it all just goes back to, if you're providing a really great member experience,
Yeah.
you will be successful.
Right. I totally agree with you, Deb. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I know I was doing the happy dance just a little while ago before I popped on here, when I realized I was I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost totally missed this. But I just got a notification on Mighty Networks that I have a new member. And it was, I think, 4 or 5 members, like 3 or 4, probably 5 days, last week, 5 days ago, that were up for membership renewals prior to my Mighty Network. So I just sent them each an individual email using Loom and just saying, hey, Deb, I'm so thrilled to have you. I have an announcement. We now have this new members only portal, blah, blah, blah. Your membership's up for renewal. Click the link below. You'll automatically be popped in, and I can't wait to welcome you. You know what I mean? So I sent 5 of those out last week, and one, so this is like a week later, one so far has actually watched the Loom video, my invitation, and clicked join. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I mean, but I was like, okay, that's 1 out of 5, and the other 2 out of the 5 had already reached out to me saying, hey, Carol, I think my membership's up for renewal. One was in March, one was in June. And, what do I need to do to renew? So, so I know they're going to, but that just goes to show you, it's not like everybody's sitting here going, I can't wait to renew my membership. I can't wait to click join.
Yeah. So true. That's so funny. I love the Loom idea, and I've been bouncing around, like doing more Looms for the community.
Yeah.
And I've done some for clients in emails, but that is actually a cool, interesting idea, because at the end of the day, we're a community and we're talking about people. And so
Right.
the more you can really relate to people in any way,
Exactly.
the more successful you're going to be at connecting with them, whether it's inviting them to the community, or just like maybe you just want to get on a Zoom call and network, or whatever the goal is. And I think that's a great strategy, because that it's personalized. Like one of my friends sent me for my birthday, on Facebook, everybody puts like the happy birthday, right? Well, my friend sent me an audio, and she sang happy birthday to me.
How wonderful
and I thought,
is that? Yes.
That's a memorable experience.
That is, yeah.
And that makes me feel very special that she took a few minutes out of her day just to do that. And I feel like if you could do that with your members,
right,
in a way that it's not overwhelming to the host.
Exactly.
I think that's a great way to go about building relationships in community that people are going to want to they will be excited to renew their membership because they're like, I love Carol, and why wouldn't I renew my membership?
And that's why they join. They join because of
Yeah.
you. You know, they
Yeah.
really joined because of you, Deb. I mean, well, I know you and I had a conversation and we just said, hey, let's just jump in, collaborate, lock arms and go and explode, because I know we can. But people join you, you know what I mean? They hear your voice and yeah. So I
Yeah.
did that for those 5. I think I've got 20 that I need to get logged into Mighty Networks, you know, and then everybody's part of the network, you know what I mean? As they start opting in, I'm like, I don't have to worry about membership renewals, you know, and they opt out when they're ready to opt out, right?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Do you have
Yeah.
another minute?
Oh yeah, I do. I know. I wanted to be respectful of your time too. So yeah, I do.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, so this has just come to me in the last week or so that some of the community members, the newer ones like Samir, who are just starting out with their community building journey, haven't launched anything yet, and they're still trying to figure out the structure. And those are typically people I work with one-on-one, and I'm trying to offer
Right.
this like one to more solution now in the
Yes.
community. And so I'm putting together these guides.
Okay.
And what I was thinking of was
Mhm.
doing a course and just kind of having it, you know, anybody can look at any section. So no matter where they're at, they have access.
Right.
But then giving them maybe a little video from me, like just saying, here's what I'm hoping to clarify with you in this section. Please
Right.
post your questions and I will answer all of them if I didn't answer something in this section. And then having that be the way they, as a gateway to them, having some kind of a roadmap, because so my question to you is, do you
Right.
provide a roadmap for people? Because you don't have a course. I know you're in the same, right now you have just the community and not
Right.
the course functionality on the community plan.
Right.
And I had the business plan, but then I pulled away from it because I wasn't using all the functions. And I thought, well, I'm
Right.
paying for this and I'm just not using it
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, in January, I ended up shutting off the business plan, but
Right.
now I'm thinking about all of these new features. And so I really
Yes.
want to get back into understanding the courses and the functionality for clients and for myself.
Right.
So that's the only way I was thinking about a workflow, unless you had suggestions of how you onboard people in a structure. Do you have a structure?
I don't have a structure. I mean, that is why I joined Mighty Networks. I wanted to have that to be the structure. Do you know what I mean? For ease, because once they join, they get a welcome message that I've already typed up, or Mighty Network gives it to you. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I get notified, and then I can say, hey, welcome. I mean, I have my own, because I have a website, which is separate from Mighty Networks, and I have a business directory. So my system is outside of Mighty Networks. It's kind of a little, I think it's an added bonus. I give them a social media splash to welcome to Beautiful Faces Going Places. I splash that on LinkedIn, social media. Then I create their profile on our website in a business directory, because I want the world to see, you know, when somebody sees them on LinkedIn, or they see Welcome to Beautiful Faces Going Places, what is that? What is that network? What is that community? You know, for me, that's another way of advertising and marketing and creating
Yeah.
interest and sparking curiosity. So at the moment, that is my welcome to the community.
Mhm.
And then they get a once a month, you know, here's our upcoming events and reminders, like, make sure you check the website for upcoming events, come and network with us, join Empower Hour, whatever the messaging is. So we host events that I hope to drive them to come and join us so that they can start meeting other people and networking. And so I don't know if that makes sense. It's not, it's kind of almost multifaceted to drive them to the Mighty
it's-
Network. So
It around the structure that you're hosting a networking space. It's not an educational necessarily place where they're learning specifically from you as the instructor.
right.
And that's the structure I had last year. So up until January, I had my Find Calm Here focused on events. And so I had, you know, people coming in and doing a workshop each week.
Right.
And so there was no like start here really. It was
Right,
like
right.
whenever you join, here's what we're doing this month and these are all the events. And so
Right.
that was kind of how I was interacting with people. And then I
Yes.
was also having some of them in like a smaller cohort that said, hey, I wanted some additional support. And so we did some
Yes.
accountability breakout groups for
Right.
some people who were like still trying to identify their business structure and things like
Right,
that. I was
right.
doing those kinds of masterminds basically in the last
Right.
year, which is
Okay.
how I kind of ended up launching the Mighty Mastermind,
Yeah.
which was in January. And so we did that until April.
Okay.
And so from that Mighty Mastermind structure is how I came up with the structure for what is now Find Calm Here,
Right.
of the
right.
pricing and the plans and the
Mhm.
offering, like the Muddy, today's called the Muddy Monday, and some of the other features that we're putting together. But
Right.
now on top of what I didn't expect until the last 30 days that I realized is I thought I was going to have to, I wanted to do digital products for clients to help them and myself have a structure, a better functioning way to get
Right.
to their result faster. But I
Right.
really thought I was going to have to do this all on my own. I thought I was going to have to build all this stuff. I'm
Right.
learning about business. I'm like, I bought business digital product workbooks, and I'm like,
Right.
you know, trying to learn things 1,000 miles a minute to try to do this.
Right.
And then I had a call with Stacy, who was on a little bit ago, and she was saying about, I don't, know about all the questions. Can you do it in a different way? And so that's what kind of brought up this idea of the workflows. And then, so I just started like one thing on top of the next. And so now
Right.
I didn't want to launch a course. I was
Right.
thinking, okay, well, I'll put together little components of what will be then once
Right.
I get it all kind of out in the world. But if I could like structure it in a way where I break it out, each month of kind of creating something. And then at the end of the year, I would have putting that all, organizing it into one flow of a course. That was kind of my plan. But now I'm, as I'm getting people in there, they're like, well, I need somewhere to start. And I feel
Right.
like that would be, in this sense of I'm as the expert, they're coming in to learn from me. I
Yes.
need something to instruct them in a structured way that they can access at different times. Maybe they can't come on some of the live calls. And so I can't necessarily be helping them in that capacity. But if I gave them some resources that they could process as a self-study on their own,
Yes.
then they
Yeah.
could show up on these calls with already having gotten
Yes.
to a certain point that then maybe there's another sticking point that then I can learn about. So then I can create a
Yes.
new resource.
I love that. You know what I think, what I'm just based on everything you just shared, what I'm seeing and visualizing is you don't need to spend all this time pre-creating content or a course or snippets of classes, if you will, or small tutorials, but based on what you've created now with this, today was, I forgot what you called it. Was it
The guide.
Tech Tuesday or something, or
Oh, Mighty Monday, Tech and
Mighty
Strategy session.
Monday? If you do this consistently every Monday, and your people start showing up and asking their questions, they're going to be telling you what they need help with, right?
Yeah.
So after today, you just had a power hour. Your ideal people, they're your people, are telling you exactly what's missing, their problems, their pain
Right.
points. Now, after this session, you can take what was whatever was needed, the problem, and create just a 15-minute, doesn't have to be an hour, a tutorial on what, and how to, and share your screen and make it, 15-minute. This is what you need, the mighty nugget, the mighty, I don't know what you want to call it, but
Yeah.
I think create those, and those could almost go into your special group or access to, and you can charge a premium for that. Do you know what I mean? So that these members can go in and access all these tutorials, which came from real live questions and real live issues as your clients, because I think you're going to slowly discover that a lot of them have the same questions.
Right.
And then, when you're in this group setting, you're going to have people with all different levels of where they're at with their mighty networks, different
Right.
levels. Somebody's just bought their Mighty Network package and like, where do I start? Where do I begin? Somebody's been in their Mighty Networks for 2 years, you know, they're at different levels, and they also have different ways of operating, you know. As you can see,
Yeah.
mine's a little bit different than course creation. You know, I'm
Right.
building out a community. So I don't know if that makes sense. I
No,
just feel
yeah.
like- I think sometimes people just, and I see this with a lot of coaches and experts out there, they just start creating their course, right? They put it together, they spend a lot of time with their creating the course and the sequence, and it's a 12-week program, whatever it is. They get their digital product out there and then nobody buys it.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about with Ani earlier too.
Yeah.
And with other people that build stuff. And that's why I launched stuff without asking people if they wanted this thing.
Right.
And that's what I did a year ago. And that's where it didn't work out because
Right.
nobody had told me they wanted this thing. I just said, I think everybody wants this thing because I like this thing. And so I'm going to create this thing. And I ended up doing all of this
All that
work. And in
exactly.
December, I'm like exhausted and drained and have nothing financially really to show from it.
Right.
And
right.
it was like, this isn't the way. And so that's
Right.
why, like we're saying, I'm literally co-creating the content of everything that I'm going to end up charging for
Right.
based on the feedback of these people. And it's not like
And
I'm
as
just
you go.
using the members of Find Calm Here community just for
No.
my own purposes, because
No.
I'm actually giving them my time and
Exactly.
trying to help them get to
Yes.
their solution
And you
in the
are.
same moment. So
You are. You're giving so
I'm
much
hoping
value.
I'm hoping it's an even trade and
It will be. I really
all this
see it.
stuff. So
I have goosebumps just saying this. I mean, I truly believe you are giving so much value in those 1 hour, you know, ask me anything. That was so powerful, that ask me anything. Today's session, even though I caught the last, 5 minutes, I was able to ask my
Yeah.
question. You answered it. That was worth so much value.
right.
I think you're giving so much there, but your people, your tribe, they're telling you what their pain points are, what the problems are. Now you can create that 15-minute mighty golden nugget, whatever you want to call it. And then you can charge for that or figure out how you want to host it. And then people will, gosh, she's got a 15-minute video. Here's the golden nugget. Here's the golden key to that problem. Don't stay stuck there. They purchase it, however you structure that. But
Yeah.
your people are right now in this room where you've created the opportunity to answer their questions on the spot, help solve their problems on the spot. There should be no reason why you can't. I mean, if one person had that question, there's going to be another one 6 months from now, 12 months from now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think going back just to the question as far as like, should I move to the business plan? I think I should at this point, because I think that it will give me and the members of Find Calm Here that newly come in, because a lot of the members that are in the Money Mastermind, like they know what's going on, but these new
Right.
people, they're typically coming from discovery calls, and they're
Right.
typically people who are starting out or have just launched or like looking to relaunch or something because it didn't work the first time. And so
Right.
they really need a clear, here's where to start.
Yes, they
I think
do.
in the Find Calm Here community. So that's kind of where I've been led in the last 2
I
weeks
love
to
it.
say, instead of waiting until like, I think I'm ready
Right.
later,
Exactly.
I'm just going to put some things up and I'm going to create a course and I'm going to offer it out there in the world. And
Yes.
as I get more feedback, I'll just improve it over and over.
time.
And
Yes.
just as we're talking about with everything else, when we say, forget perfection and launch
Yes.
before you're ready and all of these
Exactly.
terms, I just need to take my own advice in this instance and say, all right, I don't feel like I'm ready. And I have some hard times with criticism, but I'm really going to be open to like, just tell me what I need to do to fix it so that I can make it great.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's time to switch to the business plan now. You're right.
Yeah.
You did not need it a year ago, but now you've got something concrete. You have an audience. You're building momentum with your tribe, with your community. They need this additional, and I love the idea of calling it Mighty Networks for Newbies or something, and that way they know
Yeah.
specifically it's for new people, or new Mighty Net community creators, or, I also just had a real quick idea for you. I
Yeah.
noticed that Gina launched a new program, started today. I think it was like $99 or something, about how to move your network from like Facebook into your Mighty Networks, or
Yeah.
wherever your community is, which is what I've been working on for 12 months.
Yeah.
But I didn't sign up for that course. I almost did. My thoughts for you, Deb, is I don't know if you signed up for her course or not for this 5-day,
No.
but my thoughts are you really should, and take your golden nuggets from that
I'm
and then create your own.
It's so funny that you bring this up because I've been bouncing back and forth with it through these emails that I'm getting from her. And so I'm supposed to be investing in the expert program.
Okay.
And I don't know what the cost of that is. And I don't
Right.
know what the training is because I've been asking them for 2 months.
Right.
And so I almost find it, I don't want to invest any more in the Mighty Networks unless it's something that I can monetize immediately,
Right,
like these,
exactly.
upgrading to the business plan and
Right.
creating a course, which is what we're talking about. Or also, I want to teach them my own understanding of what my experience is, or clients that I've worked with, and not necessarily
And what has helped them.
what the Mighty Networks is telling them to do,
Yes,
because I
right.
don't always think that, again, when we talk about how things are successful, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily, I love the Mighty Networks. Obviously, I'm
Right,
affiliate,
right.
it's
Yeah.
the whole business is about the Mighty Networks, but I
Yes.
honestly think that they still can
agree.
represent certain aspects. And
Yes.
they did have a workshop on this particular topic, and they've had some conversations around it. And my concern, not to be offensive, but my concern is they
No.
just repurpose their own content. And I
Right.
don't want to sit through another and pay for another
think
thing that I've
that's
already
why
been
I
there,
didn't
done that,
sign
and
up.
have the t-shirt. That's
why
the
I
reason
didn't
why
sign up.
that's the reason why I didn't sign up. And that's the problem, is that I've seen multiple
Yeah.
people. We did you and I did the refresh, and even the
Right, I
refresh,
did the refresh.
even
Yeah.
the refresh was there was some new
Yes.
stuff in there, but it was even still regurgitated content
was
from the community design
regurgitated.
masterclass. So I just,
Okay.
at this point, I'm not going to invest, just because I'm in content creation myself right now. So I don't really want to take on another learning something that's
Yeah.
not. And then, so I'm really wanting to put, like, I'm just saying, I'm building these the guides and the workflows and what is going to be the course. And so that's where my focus is on for the next 2 weeks, because in the month of July, I want to start building templates. So a lot of what people have been saying is helpful is to have an email template,
Yes.
so that they know the wording when
Mhm.
they want to send an email to their email list, or to
Right.
specific groups of people, to invite them to a discovery call, what I call,
Right.
or a potential member interview.
Right.
And so I've been working on some and to, like, get interest, and how do you
Yes.
engage your email list and get them to come back
Right.
in the community. So we're going to be
Yes.
focusing on a lot more email related
Okay.
content in July.
Good. Okay.
And
No,
then I'm
I
going to be
think-
really diving into this, building more of an audience. And I'm looking at that in August for that conversation.
Okay.
I did say that I'm going to have a workshop in July about the processes, these platforms, the components that I use in addition to the Mighty Networks, like
Okay.
the programs that I use, like with email, and with I used a little bit of Trello, and I used a little bit of Bonsai, which is the new
Never heard of it.
platform that a lot of people haven't heard of, and I started
Right.
using, and it's been very, very helpful for me
Okay.
to schedule tasks, follow
Okay.
up with clients, create assignments for myself, and then have accountability on my end to follow up, and so that I don't forget about anything,
Right. Right.
and of different aspects of community building or business building
Right.
that
Right.
I need to do. So I will have a workshop. I'm going to set a date this week for that to be in July so
Okay.
that we can kind of look at some different things that might help you and other Mighty Network hosts better systematize and schedule out posts and
Mhm.
content and your launch plan and all that kind of, how do I reach all these people and how do I do all of the things, is build my
Yeah.
sales page and build the plans. I don't have to do that in one day. Guess what? I can take 2 months to do all of these
Yeah.
things and I can just stage it in little stages and I get a little chunk of things done. And then, like I just was saying earlier, this launch, I did a soft launch, reached out to like 45 people that I had as like warm leads,
Right.
invite them in. And then Sunday was the official open date, but I have already had 7 new members
Yeah.
before that official launch date
Right.
because I started really just talking about it in discovery calls on the podcast. And I just started like talking about it so that it was already kind of starting to be in the minds of some people. And so some people
Right.
came in that time period, but it allowed me the 2 months so that I wasn't feeling like I had to create everything and then be ready to launch and open in
Right.
2 weeks. And
Right.
so that is another conversation about like just creating space for yourself as a Mighty Network
Yes.
host to find calm with all of these different aspects of community
Exactly.
building.
Right.
So yeah, so that's another workshop that I'm planning for July.
Great.
And if there's a topic like this, if you have challenges or specific questions to the Facebook or like moving a group, is that Facebook is directly related, or is that?
For me,
Yeah.
my group, I do have a free Facebook private group page. So,
Yeah.
and I will keep that. I think that is a great funnel, if you will, like free starter, but I need
Right.
to start leveraging, like saying, hey, we do have a members only community, come and join our network, whatever the message is. But I will continue to have my free Facebook group page because people join that. And then I give them kind of a taste and a flavor for who we are, what we do. And then now I need to put a link there, like join us. Here's our Mighty Network link.
Yeah.
But that's just one way, one tentacle of being visible about beautiful faces going places in our Mighty
Yeah.
Network. So, but anyway.
Would it help you to have a workshop where we talk about things live, or would it be helpful to have some kind of a structured, outline plan of here, step 1, step 2 kind of thing?
I think a plan is a great idea. I mean, if you have really what they're teaching this week at Mighty Networks, which I think I already know what I need to do. And it's just really need to invite people and create different ways, get the link out there. And, whether it's through podcasting or Facebook Lives or,
Yeah. The most
website.
popular way I've seen to convert people over in that scenario is when you're doing a Facebook Live,
Mhm.
but that they can't get the recording and they can't be on the Zoom call. So let's say you have a Zoom call with your community, like a networking
Right.
meetup or something.
Right.
And let's say once a month, like maybe you have them every week, or maybe you have them twice a month, but then like once every quarter or once a month, however the frequency, it's less than what you're giving the community, but
Right.
less time, but you do that once a quarter, for example, to gain new members. And so you go live on Facebook. And so then
Right.
your audience is seeing it on Facebook, but they can't join or ask questions or participate in actually what's happening. They're just watching it as an
Right.
audience member. But then you
Right.
give them that share link in the Facebook Live
Right.
so that join live. And here's how you can join us, or join the next time we chat.
Right.
And that link is inviting them to the community. So they
Gotcha.
can't get access to the Zoom or to other stuff until they come in the Mighty Networks.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I've seen,
Okay.
whether it's a YouTube or a Facebook, that seems to be a
Right.
successful way of
Yes.
encouraging people, because then if a lot of the time people just, especially with you, they're networking. They want to connect. They want to talk to somebody. They want to be able to ask a question or
Yeah.
say what's working for you, or here's what I'm trying to do, and get feedback. And that's what you offer. That's the magic. So I wouldn't give that away at all. I would just say, here's what we're talking about. And
Right.
telling the people on that Zoom call, making sure they're aware, like this is going to be a public format. So don't like share any
Exactly.
business secrets or something. But, just to say that every, once a quarter, we're going to go live to our actual full audience so that everybody can see what's really great in here. But they're not going to be able to have access to come in here.
Right.
And then
so members only.
Then you put
Beautiful
that a
faces,
replay
going
out.
places.
And then you
Yeah.
send the replay out on the email. And then the
Yeah.
replay comes out in the emails and people are seeing this and they're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yes.
And then in that email with the replay, you're also having the link, join the
Right.
community and make sure you get on the next networking call. It's on June 3rd or whatever the next call is.
Right.
And then you have some urgency as far as like, if they wanted to really participate in the next call, then you're already telling them you got to join by July
Yes.
1st so that you can come on the July 5th call, something like that.
Right.
Those are things
Well,
that I've seen have been
yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's a combination of a couple of things. I could put together, a sequence or a list maybe of some helpful tips.
That would be helpful. I mean, I think
Um,
if I'm kind of going through this scenario, like what's the best way now to
I
bring,
don't know about best way, but I'll say the ways that I found like that might
Yeah.
work.
Right.
Or just my thoughts as far as I still forgot. Again, it just comes down to user experience. And
yeah,
if you're showing up and like doing that live, you're going to convert people that are really connecting with your
Right.
message.
right.
And so just doing something like that, or whether it's just like a once a month webinar,
I'm
if it's
thinking
an
a once a
educational
month.
thing,
Yeah, exactly.
something like that. And, if you're able to show the value in that, you'll definitely convert people because they
Right.
will connect with your message if they're aligned with the values and what they need is
Right.
what they're going to be able to get in your network. So, and you've already got a lot of validation from other people who say, this is what I want, and this is helping me in my business. And so
Right.
basically between testimonials
Right.
of other people, referrals, and
Yeah. Yeah.
another question is ambassador program. I don't know if you have thought about the ambassador
I-
program.
I had initially, I had it on, and then I wanted to actually give out prizes or gift cards or something for referrals. And then I had one friend who's a huge BNI connector. She's like, Carol, I don't agree with that. In terms of, she goes, I don't want to get paid.
Paid to,
Yeah, if I truly believe in what you have to offer, I just want to be able to say, hey,
Yep.
you got to join Beautiful Faces Going Places. You got to meet Carol, but not have it linked to, because I'm going to get a $50 Visa card or a $25 Visa card.
correct.
And I said, you know what, you're absolutely right. So then I just totally shut off my
Yep.
ambassador buttons. And I'm like, let's just focus on, adding some content, some value here. And
Yeah.
I had to learn how to use the system as well. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still kind of
Mhm.
learning.
And so, that's another workshop that I'm looking at down the road, is doing an ambassador workshop, because I think and I
Yeah.
agree. I don't think it should be a monetary benefit. I feel like there are programs and systems that works for specific things, but
Right.
it has to be identified by if that's a part of your business plan or not. Some people, that is a part of their business plan. If it's
Right.
affiliate marketing specifically, that's the point of their business. But in the cases of like my community, I want it to be a more authentic referral system where I
Yes.
can actually help the member, not by
Exactly.
paying them, but by giving them some of my time to hopefully help them increase their revenue in their community by
Right.
by giving them more one-on-one time that I'm charging 2 hours. I'm charging $300 for 2
Right.
hours when
Right.
I do these strategy sessions. And so, I'm going out there and I'm talking to people all the time, and these are the rates that I'm
Yeah.
charging people. So I can't just continue to do things for free, but I
Right.
want to incentivize them in that way. That's why this Muddy Monday is happening. And it's because the fireside chats are kind of the impromptu things. And
Right.
because I want to make sure I'm offering more value, because the better
Right.
I offer more value, those members in Find Calm here are going to
Yes.
pay and stay,
Right.
because they know that Deb's going to be there on Monday,
Yeah.
and I can show up and she'll answer my question, like you said
Right.
earlier. But also they'll in the Muddy hosts and
Right.
other places that they communicate with people, or people that they've met through the community design masterclass or these other things. They're like, oh, well, you should just join Deb's
You should.
community, because
Exactly.
she'll answer your question on that next Muddy Monday, and then you'll be
Exactly.
able to like move forward. And maybe I offer them like I offer them a spotlight where I share,
Right.
I feature their community. And so that's what
Right.
I'm looking at. One of the
That's a nice
parts
little
of my ambassador
you.
program is the spotlight.
Yeah.
On my blog,
Right.
I've been doing a Medium blog.
Mhm.
So on the Medium blog, I want to do a spotlight of communities. Once somebody
Right.
has 2 referrals that have been, then I want to write a post and have an interview with them, put that in, and promote that out. And then the other options are like a review of your community. So we
Right.
actually workshop like what you're doing
That's a nice thing.
and how is it working for you, and where are you getting stuck, or what's not
Right.
really working, or what is really working well, so we can focus on like how can we improve or times that.
Right.
So those are offerings that I'm kind of, and I changed the number in my community. So if you look on the ambassador program, I have a whole post about it, and I have 2, 4, and I think 6 or 8 is the different differentiations. The Mighty Network asks you 2 for the bronze. They have silver, I think is 10, and then
Okay.
20. You have to refer 20. That's a lot of referrals.
I think 20 is a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of referrals. So I like changed it and
You
lowered
changed
the
it.
bar. So I customize it, and it's just on the, and you can see it actually, if you use the correct share link, it
Mhm.
shows up on the member profile. It says how many people they've
Okay.
referred when you have that ambassador program on.
Okay.
And so then when they say, hey, Carol, I'm at 4 members,
Yeah.
and I get, this is what you're offering, whatever that
Right.
offering is that makes sense for your community.
Right. Right.
You can look at their profile and it says they referred 4 members. Great. So
Yeah.
I'm going to connect with Carol, and we're going to do a spotlight. I'm going to set up a Zoom call so that we can
Right.
get on an interview and talk about this spotlight, because I really want to make sure I hold up to what I
Highlight
said
you.
I would
Yes.
do. And
Yeah.
and you can customize it. Even though the Mighty Networks has some of these like numbers, you can make it your own and
Yeah.
just tell people like, okay, here's the
Right.
deal. Like, you don't have to get 20. I want to offer this to you if you do 10.
Right. Right.
That kind of thing. So I think those are other ways, because then the members are actually referring other members. And so they'll
Exactly.
also, when you have members referring members,
Yeah.
then when the new person joins, that member who referred will say, hey, welcome to Carol. She's new in here. I just invited her and told her all about this awesome space. And so
Right.
then that person is going to help the new person. So like, you don't even have to like tell them anything necessarily. The friends that invited them will say, hey, make sure you check out this space, because that's where all the events happen. And
Right.
then it's like that part where like they're helping each other, and the host isn't so much responsible for that onboarding process to the extent of like a hand-holding situation. It's
Right.
more of a guidance of like, you need like, maybe your friend doesn't know, and so then
Mhm.
you go to the host or something. Those are different ways.
Yeah.
And maybe there's
That
a
would
way
be
I
a
can
great course.
put that into like I don't know, like small like tips or something that I'm
Right,
trying to
right.
figure out how to like, I get so detail oriented that like
Right.
I get so in the weeds right away that I feel like I start losing people, because they're like, oh, now she's talking about 16 layers of something. And I know I feel that way with like WordPress and other things. And so I don't want to do that. And so I think what you were saying earlier, which I didn't really think about, was I think I'm just going to take each one of the slides and do a short, like a 15-minute video on the slide. And then
Right.
that's just one section, is that one slide,
Yes.
like
Right.
no more than one slide. And we're
Right.
just going to talk in that section. We just talk about that one thing. And then I have maybe like a worksheet for them to fill out on their own.
Right.
And then there's a section they can just ask the questions that they want to ask for
Right.
that one
For that
particular
one topic or something.
slide.
Yeah. Slide.
Yeah. So that it's not like, then they can go to another section and then there's something else.
Yes.
So that
exactly.
everything is kind of contained in those sections instead of, having a whole big, my thought was I'll just put together a PDF, a presentation that's 12 pages. But
Yeah.
then that also then leads to, that's where you lose people, because
I
then you
think
get into
that's-
page 3 and you're like,
Yeah,
whoa,
I think
I don't know what's going on. So I
Right.
think answering,
Yeah.
you've helped me just kind of really make sure that I have to sign up for the business plan again this week, so that I can structure out these tiles instead of putting it out in the Find Calm Here community as a 12-page document of
Right.
breaking it out into each section in a course.
yes.
And then just
exactly.
saying, here's
mini
this
courses.
one little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
mini
And it's
courses.
one
So,
little-
And
one
it's not overwhelming then, because we're talking about finding calm. So that's not so overwhelming. A 12-page
Right.
document versus one thing is not going to be
Exactly, it's the one
overwhelming.
thing, right.
Yeah. So that's a
I
good,
like
that's a
it. It's
good idea.
15-minute mighty golden nuggets, 15 minutes and 15
Yeah.
minute, whatever. I think a 15-minute little video, and like you said, concentrate on one thing.
Yeah.
And that could be, they're like little tiny mini courses, right? And they can take it in little nuggets, golden nuggets at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That feels calming to me.
I'll have to figure out how I really break it up. And I think once I open it up to everybody in the Find Calm Here community, then I'll ask people,
Yeah,
you know, how it's working and if they see that this is helpful or where I can, you know, maybe tweak some things to make it a little bit easier
Mhm.
along the way.
I'm just trying to think of how you can start creating your mini courses and selling them, or just putting them, like you just shared a huge golden nuggets right with me on ambassador programs, almost like where to start, how to break it down. Here's
Yeah.
some other options. You don't have to do it the Mighty Network way. Here are other ways. But that 15 minutes of that alone was, worth
Yeah.
so much. Do you know what I mean? What if you create that as it's like a mini course or something, and it's 15 minutes, $15. I don't know, but whatever the number is, but I think you have an opportunity to start creating little mini courses.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think that's what I'm going to start working on this week is I'm
Awesome.
actually going to just start building out some courses and then putting them on the landing page and putting them out there in the world and saying, when I'm talking to clients and things like that, I can share it with the email list and just say, here are some new features. And I like the idea of a mini course. Maybe I just say,
Yes.
a 15-minute mini course, and it's included in your membership. And maybe I charge a little bit more for that course. So I say
Mhm.
70 for,
Mhm.
$55 or whatever it is.
Right.
I'll figure out some pricing
Yeah.
structures that I feel comfortable with, but like
Yeah.
just charging a little bit more for them to be able to get access to these already pre-built things. Because what feels in alignment is like the people that are really helping me with this, I want them to have access without having to pay additional things.
Right.
But the
Right.
people that are just coming in, they should pay because they weren't
Right.
helping me build all this stuff. And now it's
No.
like customized and it's like right there for them. And
Yes.
so that's the value.
Yes.
And so that's how I see this like growing of,
Yeah.
I offer these introductory like mini courses, like you're saying, and I could put some together in this week and I could actually have them on the
Right.
landing page by Friday. Just there. And I can, have them in the community. And so people can actually be in the community helping start to curate and build it.
Right.
And then, but it's still up for availability for people as I'm growing the podcast and as I'm growing my
Exactly.
clients and all that stuff, so that I am offering alternatives to
Right.
what the Mighty Network is doing, because I feel like I really want to make sure that I differentiate myself from the Mighty Network, because although we talk a lot about it, I am not an employee of the Mighty Network and I don't teach what they teach. That's their proprietary content.
Right.
And I don't want to ever say that I'm just going to repurpose what they do
Right.
into what I'm doing. I really wanted to have the branding and everything be around the calm philosophy and
yeah,
how can I
exactly.
really customize this
Yes.
for Find Calm Here,
Right.
and not so much talking about the Mighty Networks in the aspect of, and more just community building and
Yeah.
finding calm with community. So
Yes.
I think that was really important for me from the very beginning
Mhm.
to like differentiate myself from the Mighty Networks.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to go about it, because instead of saying, well, go buy a Mighty Network course, I can be like, buy my course,
Right. Exactly. Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
or if you've already taken the Mighty Networks and you're
Right.
still feeling stuck.
Right. That's what I mean. Like
it-
they probably already took the Mighty Design. Most of the people I talk to
Right,
have
like I
already taken
did.
the Mighty Design Masterclass, and they already kind of have that prerequisite when they come into Find Calm Here. And
Right.
so they have that background, but then there's still some missing
Yes.
components. And so I think I'm trying to
Exactly.
fill the gap between like Community Design Masterclass is really
Yes.
great. No, don't
It
get me
was
wrong.
good,
There's a
yeah.
lot of good stuff there, but I
Yeah.
think the missing component is kind of what we're doing in here, which they try to
Exactly.
do in Mighty Hosts with connecting people in those cohorts when they have the Mighty
Right.
the community design masterclass cohorts. I feel like that's what they try to do, but it's so much more focused on the product and what
Right.
their offering is, and
Yeah,
like
I think you're right.
everything about that stuff. And it's less about how to help each other. And so the,
Exactly.
you know, what I learned with the Mighty Mastermind group and all the feedback from everybody in the Mighty Mastermind was that the difference is you are connecting each of us to each of us,
Yes.
and not just about the Mighty networks, but
Exactly.
allowing us to have a stage to say, here's what I'm doing.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like I'm doing it alone, but now I feel like I'm not doing it alone because
Right.
I'm in a group of people who are all
We're
doing it.
all-
So we're doing it alone together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
See, that
So-
right there was magical. Exactly. So we're not
And that's-
alone. That we're
That's
here
the whole point
together.
of community.
Yes, exactly. Well,
All
you're
right,
on the
I'm
right
gonna-
track, Deb.
I'm going to stop chatting. I have to go to
Aw.
a potty break and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. So
Well, I'm so
Thank you
happy
so
I
much.
caught you. I was like, okay, I've got 5 more minutes. I'm gonna jump on, and I'm feeling lucky because I got to have you a little bit longer, and hopefully I gave you some value. I know you gave me tons, and I'm excited for you. So keep.
I'm going to
working the
think
magic.
about the Facebook stuff, and I'm going to think about the ambassador stuff. And then if I get to something, putting something together, would you be willing to look at something before I put it out to the community?
Absolutely. Sure. No,
Okay.
absolutely. Please use me as a resource as you are building and growing. And I mean, I'm
Thanks.
happy to give you my whatever it's worth.
Well, then you've said it, so I will send it to you. I will
Okay.
give
perfect.
you what I've got, and I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
whatever, maybe we can jump on a Zoom call after you check it out and just go through some of the stuff.
No, that'd be amazing. I'd be honored and would absolutely love it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
right.
Thanks so much,
Take
Deb.
Have a good day.
one. Yep. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.